Okay guys, that's really lame. I've been here since like 6 a.m. in the morning. I bet you I can get louder than you guys. Hello everybody! Who here is ready to listen to some great patriots? Okay, let's do this again. Come on guys, who here is ready to listen to some great patriotic men who have served our country? So before we get into this next panel, I really want to thank each and every one of you that came out here, from all our vendors, East Coast Tacos, SoCal Burgers, I'm a big burger guy, the band, everybody here, all our providers, all our directly operated clinics, our chief for making it out here, and all these decorated gentlemen up here. Without them, we wouldn't have a country like the country we have. But even more importantly, you know, they're men and they're here to share about their experiences and where we're at now. So let's hear it again for these great gentlemen up on stage. It takes a lot of courage. Let's go. Thank you guys. Without further ado, I'm gonna try not to talk too much because I have a lot of respect for our veterans. And so I'm just going to hand it over and we're going to get this conversation started. Mr. Kevin Collins, I'm going to hand over the mic to you and you guys can chat it up.
Okay, yeah, I'm Kevin Collins. I am a community health, supervisor community health worker with the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health, and I'm also a disabled United States Marine.
My name is Jesse. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 2004 to 2017. I currently work for LA County, DMH, out of the Rio Honda Central Living Center.
Good afternoon. Ed Armstrong. I'm Dr. Ed Armstrong. I'm a psychologist by profession, manager here at DMH. All started as a Marine Corps, or in the Marine Corps. So I'm a proud Marine Corps veteran, served from 89 to 93. Love the Marine Corps presence here. I'm a dad, I'm a grandfather, public servant, so I'm proud to be here this afternoon to share our experiences, or my experiences. So thank you.
I'm Asaki Kokani, First Nations, Blackfeet. My name is Keith Fiel. I'm a SUV counselor with the American Living Counseling Center. These young men here, I've been out 46 years, so that's a long time. But yeah, share some stories and some good insights on what veterans are about and what we're doing today here. And DMH, it's been a lot for me, and that's probably one of the things I want to talk about more. Thank you.
So, I wasn't sure if this was on. I'm going to put on my DJ whiskey. Again, I have a lot of respect for all y'all. And just, you know, I'm Mexican-American, but, you know, I'm a huge patriot. And you guys are all men, fathers, grandfathers, you know, siblings, and uncles, I'm sure, you know. I know as veterans, you all have been through a lot in your experience in being fathers. How would you describe your experience? I would just be interested to know, like, how would you describe your experience being a veteran, going through that process, and now here with DMH on this stage talking about mental health? I know that's a loaded question, but
That's like a loaded potato right there. Well, being me growing up in South Central Los Angeles, it prepared me for the Marine Corps. So dealing with the gangs and stuff like that, I was prepared to actually outrun most of them bullets. But when it comes to being a veteran and coming back here, it's strange, because when you go to combat or when you have that military life, it's a different life. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just a totally different life. And when you come back to the civilian world, it's like a culture change or a shock to you. So So it's a lot that you have to continuously try and get used to. I've been on the workforce since '95 and I'm still trying to adjust to, you know, being in combat and then coming back and getting civilian war and then trying to help people in the community. So it's still a struggle to this day. And I'm talking 20 years of a struggle. So that's pretty much my piece.
I'd say based off my experience, very similar. I joined in 04. To be honest, I didn't know if I was going to deploy or not, given the situation at the time. It looked like we were going to be deployed. My first 2 deployments, I didn't have any kids. By the time my 3rd deployment came around, I already had a newborn daughter. And I ended up leaving while she was barely, not even 3 months at the time. And it kind of, the whole time I was out there, it was really on my mind where, you know, I want to get back home, do my mission here, accomplish my mission, do whatever I need to do, and come back to my family. I feel like ever since, now I can kind of look back, not just as a veteran, but also as a father. Okay. Oh, there's my DJ voice. And my daughter's 15 now. She's gonna be 16 in September, and I still feel like I've been playing catch up ever since I got back, you know, almost 15 years ago. And it feels like it's been a process, but you know, I came into the county as a veteran intern, and it helped me adjust through the process as well, because it gave me structure similar to what I was going through, and you know, I made it here, and I'm glad, and I have my family with me, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. So, my journey into fatherhood started right after I joined the military. So I became a new dad at the age of 19. My son was 6 weeks, and I was shipped off to Desert Storm. Came back to a family, to an infant, and so when I think about being a veteran and I think about being a dad, those are definitely interconnected for me personally, because trying to navigate deployment, returning back to family after deployment, being a first-time dad at 19, something that, you know, the Marine Corps didn't teach you. They taught us a lot, but they didn't teach us how to be a dad. So as we talk about, you know, as this panel talks about what being a veteran means, one of the things, again, that the military doesn't prepare you for is how to navigate the challenges of being a father. And that's such an interesting concept, because everything that the military teaches us is about, you know, kind of being tough and sucking up and not giving up. And it hardens us, which you need to be hardened, obviously, to be deployed, to be a Marine, to be a veteran, to be in any act of military. And that doesn't quite fit with how you should raise your kids. And so, you know, one of my early experiences being a dad was about being tough. And, you know, stop crying and suck it up and deal with it. And that's a very opposite of what we should think about as parents. It should be about, it's okay to cry, especially when you're talking about raising young men. I have three sons and 5 grandsons. So I have to appreciate what the military taught me, but put it in a place where it doesn't impact my ability to be a dad. And, you know, get on the knee and say, you know, it's okay, let's cry, let's talk about the feelings. And so that's kind of why I'm so happy to be a part of the panel today and talk about what our experiences are, because while military is so incredibly valuable for the community, for the country, for the world, we have to, again, put it in place and understand what fathering and what parenting looks like in a different lens in which we you know, saw our military service. So I guess we'll talk more about that throughout this panel this morning. But super passionate about military service, but also more passionate about being a dad. So I'll pass it on. Sorry.
Dr. Armstrong, I'm going to be changed today. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, because I'll talk. I'm going to talk all day. Y'all pass it on.
Yeah. As a Native American, being in the military is a rite of passage. It's a warrior. There's no more wars out there in our country. 200 years of fighting back, resilience. So it's a rite of passage. And going in there, I really miss my unit and every one of these guys that I was and being from a reservation, there was nothing about Native Americans, but in this unit there was African American, there was Asian, there was Latino, so we become brothers. I miss that today. I did struggle a little bit with substance abuse and turned my life around, but I used all the skills, tools, and knowledge that I learned in there. I always say I'm going to take this task that I'm assigned to. No matter if it fails or not, I'm going to complete it. And then after that, I'll look back and see how I need adjustments on my own. And never blame anything on anybody else. It's me. And I think that was the biggest thing they taught us. Still see their faces, still see the pain and energy that comes out. Everybody always talks about a second wind. I think in the military I've developed about 19 second winds. I still don't give up. Turning my life around, going into substance abuse to help veterans, and also the community. Like I said, DMH gave me a really good purpose. One of the biggest tasks, I think, accomplishments I have was hanging in there in tough days and days when you don't want to get up out of bed and everything else with this. I got that hippie over there for our community through DMH with Maggie's help and a lot of other people. So DMH gave me some purpose. And I think I'm going to hang around a little bit. As long as it meets that TV, they're going to meet this veteran. Put it up.
I honestly, I don't have words. I don't know what to say to you guys. I really just want us to share your experience.
Well, I guess first and foremost, thank you gentlemen for your service and thank you for being part of this panel. I don't know how many of you had a chance to watch our previous panel, but one of the topics that came up was masculinity. And you know, the role that plays and sometimes the barrier that plays in seeking mental health services. And I think something that might be useful for some of the folks that are here today is, I mean, we have these wonderful veterans, and to a certain extent, you guys are the epitome of masculinity. That warrior that represents and has defended our country, our freedom. I'm curious, what is your perspective on the role of mental health coming back into society, and whether it's a strength or a barrier masculinity plays in that role in seeking support?
Oh, it's a barrier. I mean, it's a huge barrier. Because actually it's an obstacle for us. Because being, you know, as men, I heard in the other panel, it's true. We're taught to be bricks. We're taught to be brick walls. We're taught to not be a sponge, not to absorb anything that comes our way. My head must be really bringing on some daggone signals in there. I'm gonna be an alien or something. I'll shut up, y'all. But and then at the same time, you have the Marine. You know, going to the Marine Corps, we're not taught to be soldiers. We're not taught to be men. We're a Marine. And you stand out amongst the crowd. We're trained to go out there, win the war, come home. So a lot of times with me, I have to get past that completing the mission mentality because it can sometimes be a hindrance to me. Because I'm so focused on letting to complete the mission, but I'm not looking at the process of completing the mission. Also, too, is you know, we're dealing with a society where men are supposed to be considered tough and impenetrable. So it's fighting that Marine mentality plus the societal, stigma that we have placed on men to where we don't know which way to go sometimes. Sometimes you don't know when you want to cry at because you think that it's a sign of weakness, but you don't realize that it's a strength that we're actually just releasing.
Yes, well, we know we want to cry, and that's a part of the feelings that we have are genuine. Men have the same feelings as our opposite gender, and one of the challenges, as you pointed out, man, is toxic masculinity, and how the military contribute to that as a part of the building process. None of us can think about a time in boot camp or any point during our time of service where we were encouraged to, hey, take a break. It's okay. When you're tired, stop. Let's talk about how you're feeling. Absolutely not, right? That's something that from day one to our exit point, we weren't conditioned to talk about feelings. And masculinity is something that's not feeling-based. And so, one of our challenges is how do we redefine and reshape what masculinity looks like to include emoting and include accessing feelings. And I think, one of the Kevin mentioned earlier that he's a disabled veteran. And what I really want to tap into from a veteran's perspective is that seeking help and all the resources that the VA has to offer, and even getting to the point where being acknowledged as a disabled veteran has some economic advantages, but it also represents a shift for us to be able to really talk about what we're feeling. And so to get help to become a disabled veteran means you got to be honest about pain, whether it's external or internal. And I think that's a real shift. It's an opportunity for us to shift how we view our ability to just get in a room and tell somebody we're hurting. Because there's some incentive for being honest about how you feel. Whereas opposed to, when you're in, it's a disconnect. Like you're labeled and you're shamed. And post-military, now we can say, let's get help because there are resources, there's housing, there's treatment. If you need substance use or alcohol treatment, there's a ton of resources out there available if and when you come and open up and just tell us that you're hurt. And so that's an important avenue for us to really take full advantage of. And that's something that when Manny asked me to sit on this panel, and sorry, I don't know if I'm talking too long. Manny asked me to sit on this panel, I was like, no, I'm going to talk about seeking services and the advantages of it, because that's how you start to shift from suffering in silence to telling the community and tell the world, tell the VA, tell your VA reps, whoever you're working with, that you're hurting so you can get the help. Again, whether it's housing, whether it's economic, I don't care what it is, there's help out there for veterans. And all that help really makes you become a better dad. All those domains that we talk about help you become a better father because you're a better person and a better man.
I want to add to that too. I always say as a veteran, and I can only tell you this from experience, get help now. Don't do like I did. I had to be locked up for 7 days behind bars for a gun charge because I was going through some PTSD issues. And it was inside a prison where I received help. And when I say help is my wife. She actually jumped through the hoops and started getting things moving for me. So when they released me, I left from the prison system and went inside of the VA to get services. But as Ed is saying, I like calling Dr. Armstrong. I believe that work he didn't become a doctor, and I don't call him doctor as long as you like his doing it or not. So Dr. Armstrong, what he just said is true. We need to look at the resources that are available to us, because they're here. And especially the fact that you're here at this event right now, there's so many veteran resources out here right now for you. This generation right now that's coming out of the military, y'all need to thank these Vietnam veterans for the work that they did. Because those are the individuals who made it possible for us to be able to receive the benefits that we have today. So don't be ashamed, as Dr. Armstrong said, as a veteran, to go get services because you deserve it. You defended this country, you made the sacrifice, you volunteered to go and defend this country, so now it's time for the country to take care of you.
I want to add to that. Like they were saying, I'll speak as Marines, but we're conditioned to be hard chargers. Never give up. Keep your head up. Hey, if you're tired, one more mile, one more hike, one more hump. That was it. So that's how we were conditioned. So coming out into the civilian world, you still have that mentality, but there's only so many places you can actually apply that mentality. And not a lot of civilians or sectors out there could really understand it. So it comes down to the individual veteran to have to adjust to a new environment, adapt to it again. And later down the road, as a father, I noticed I was going down through like downward spiral. I was stubborn. I know I needed services, but my pride got the best of me at some point. My wife actually encouraged me to, register with the VA, see what resources they have, seek some help, and eventually that's what I did, and it actually not only benefited me but my daughters and the people around me that I wanted to surround myself with. And I think someone mentioned something about the Vietnam veterans and stuff like that. I'll tell you a quick story. I found myself at the Long Beach Veteran Affairs office picking up some vitamins prescription at the pharmacy, and older gentleman, he had to have been from the Vietnam era, sat down right next to me, and we just started talking. What are you here for? What are you picking up on? And I told him, and we started having a brief conversation, and we kind of went into why we were here, what got us here. And I told him, you know what, to be honest, I don't know if I should be here. I don't know if I've earned the right to be here. It should be afforded more. You guys should be at the front of the line. You guys, like these older gentlemen, from the Vietnam era, or past wars before that. And he just started staring at me. And I looked at him and I said, what? And he said, you sound just like me. You sounded just like me when I got back from Vietnam. And that really opened my eyes to hear a Vietnam veteran saying the same thing I was saying or telling. And now I try to preach that same thing to other veterans that are just coming out, or other military members. So don't be stubborn. You're gonna have to put your pride aside. Seek some help. There's a lot of resources out there.
Word on the street is men are stubborn. That's what I hear.
I was raised on a reservation, so it's a traditional approach. Everything when I went in the military was kind of taken away, stripped down, and when I got out, I was kind of lost. I was thinking, what should I do? I got a lot of anger, just confused, until I went back home. I've done the traditional healing, sweat lodge, and then I come back and I was pretty much stabilized, but still a lot of moral injury. That was probably the biggest thing, why them, not me. And then you start looking for purpose, but at the same time, I was able to find my wife of 36 years. And she's always been my support system, but she taught me a lot of things that I needed to do and speak about. And she would tell me, she said, the Creator, which I owe a lot to, created tear ducts. Use them. Use the tear ducts. And I said, yeah, well, please. And because it's not for weak. You could use the tear ducts for happiness. You could use it for blessings or something. Right. But use them and you don't use them. And I use them now. And it helps me vent. And once I vent, then I can figure things out and get some clarity back. I think as veterans, we hold a lot of stuff like, could we done better? Why did I make that mistake? And we go backwards instead of forward, and then we get stagnant. So we need to really open up a little bit more, speak like channels like this, and look in that mirror in the morning, look at yourself and say, hey, we can do this. We've got things to do, we've got places to go.
Family. That to me is one of the key pieces that really helps us as veterans. And I'm not talking about the people that you were born with, I'm talking about the family, people that love you. Mine is my grandkids, my best friend, you know, this community, South Central Los Angeles, LA County, Heine, you know, these people that come in my life and become a part of my life, you become a support system to us. Because one, when we see the freedom that you all are having, it's a blessing to us because we know that the sacrifice that we made is not going unenjoyed. But at the same time, I say the family piece because I think about my grandkids because they're the next inspiration that came to me that made me want to continuously strive and thrive as I live. They talk to me, they're like, Papa, Pat, what you gonna do? How you gonna do this? And keep me in shape too. I got 2 bad knees, a bad ankle, and a bad hip. And they think I look like, I don't know if y'all seen that robot. That's what I look like when I got my gear on when I started playing with the grandkids. They be like, Papa in danger. But I enjoy that, just that piece, man. I know this is a father thing, so I'm talking more past being a father, but now I'm a grandfather. And the joy it is, man, just to see, you know, I'm living 56 years, and I can enjoy this. I went through what I went through. I'm here with my brothers and my sisters. And we're living, and I'm enjoying it. But that right there, when you start talking about family, there's no color line in family, there's no race in family, there's no gender in family, it's just family. And that as a veteran is what we all need.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was sitting here thinking, like, what should I say? I know we have talking points, right? But I was sitting here like, what can I say that relates to veterans? But I'm so done. We're all men. You guys are fathers. I'm a father. Some of us are grandfathers, right? It must be rough. I think Dr. Armstrong, you mentioned having to deploy after you found out you were going to be a father. That must have been. I can't imagine leaving my daughter. You know what I mean? So my daughter's 6. She's tiny, and I can't imagine. I wonder what your thought process was like. What am I going to do?
I don't think we're thinking at that point. I mean, you had a similar issue. So, in summary, do not talk about it, so I apologize. When I got my initial orders, I also learned that my girlfriend or wife at the time was pregnant. And I begged my CO to, let me see the birth of them before I leave. And it was September of 1990. And as soon as he was born, I got my orders and I was shipped out 3 weeks later. Yeah, that's you were born? So clearly I'm older than my brother. But I mean the point is that I mean when you're in the military, there are just things that we're on autopilot. We're just kind of doing things, and it's a tough coming back to the world after we're experiencing being gone and coming back to an infant. Like it's one of the most favorite pictures I have is when I landed. We landed back in March Air Force Base to a nice parade coming back from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and holding my son for the first time in months. I still feel that in my heart and my soul as a dad. And so it makes me think. Keith mentioned purpose earlier, And if you can translate one thing from military service to being a good dad or being a family member, it's purpose. And it's the same thing, you know, Keith mentioned it, Kevin's mentioned it, like we've all mentioned it to various degrees, but translating that purpose that you get from the military, that intentionality, and being the best version of yourself as a dad or as a grandfather you can be. That's our mission. Like, so we're all mission oriented, and now the mission is to raise these kids up, these young men and these young women up, to use our tear ducts, to say it's okay, like you need a break.
You know, Chris, this is coming to me as you're speaking. You guys have gone full circle, right? Marines, you are a law. You're trained to be superheroes, right? And now you are mental health professionals. Dr. Armstrong, right? We all are in the field in one way or another. That must be just another level, right? It's like
It's you know, it's purpose. I'm gonna go back to it. It's an opportunity to serve people who wouldn't. It's kind of like my man at the VA. Like, if we don't talk to one another, if we don't communicate to one another, how will we start to change the narrative and tell people it's okay? Because we're like everything we've been taught by our fathers and our folks were, don't cry, suck it up, deal with it. Because that's just how that generation had to deal with it. And now we're creating a new purpose and a new narrative that says it's okay. Like, we're gonna ask for help, get resources. And I think that's a collective mission. I think that's being mental health professionals and working for the Department of Mental Health, we have the ability to touch a lot of lives and to normalize what help looks like. Every day I'm a Dodgers fan. I assume this entire panel is Dodgers fan. Right, every time you watch a Dodger game, there's not a time when you look in the stands and you don't see our access line. I'm so proud to be not only a veteran, but a department a representative of DMH, because we are speaking to the world about how important it is to get help. And we're literally a part of the shift in culture and destigmatizing what seeking help looks like.
now I'm tripping out because to elevate that even higher, you're making men aware that even veterans can be vulnerable and that it's okay to come full circle and seek services. And like you said, cry, or be vulnerable, open up. That's a trip too, because, most men are grown. You're raised with what is it called? Stigma associated to being a man. As a man, what are you supposed to do? Gotta work for your family, gotta wake up in the morning, get a job, make sure all these things, right? And now we are here sharing with the community, hoping maybe some veterans out there, some men, listen and get inspired by it. Yeah.
I think, truthfully, we need to, when we start talking about stigma, even when we start talking about men and women, we need to get away from that too. Because we're human beings. A lot of people say you went in the military, you're a veteran, and you can handle this, but I remember I went to Desert Storm, man, and I was in the 50th Marine, and we was getting off the side of the ship. But we had to climb off the side of the ship. I almost fell off the net because I was shaking, because I was so nervous. And I think we need to really get back to that. We so want to identify ourselves and give everybody a label, but yet we don't understand how it is to be human. And I believe that's where a lot of all these kids at. We can figure out how it is to be human, not being a man, not being a woman, not being black, not being all these different colors and all this stuff. Just understand how it is to be a human. I think it can change the perspective of what it is to be on this planet, how we get along with each other. Oh, then I want to say something too. I could talk longer with Dr. Armstrong, y'all, so forgive me. But 5 minutes, man, I can't count. So, but when we talked about, I thought about when we said it, Dr. Armstrong, Keith. That's Keith. What's your name again? Just. I was thinking about what Dr. Armstrong and Justin was saying about leaving with our kids. My son is junior. I left December 1990, and little Junior was born. He was little, more taller than me. But he was born in October of the same year. And when I got back, the funny thing about him was when I got back, I had a daughter too. She ran to me, Daddy, Daddy, oh my Daddy, back home. That boy looked at me, he's like, who is going? Yeah, who are you? Who this dude, man? Why she running over there to him? Why he's so important? Anyway, it was, I can still remember that to this day, and it means a lot to me to hear the other brothers up here working the same thing. When we were sitting there talking for long, didn't even know we all had the same trauma. And as Dr. Armstrong said, it's important that we learn how to talk to each other, how to have a communication, how to have a conversation, and to not disagree, but understand how to agree to disagree, so to speak.
Wanted to add, my daughter was born in September. I deployed that November. And it was really hard for me saying goodbye to my 2.5-month-old. That was my firstborn, and I knew it was going to drive me nuts. You know, being on the other side of the world and not being able to see my daughter grow and have these, you know, significant moments. I was going to miss those. And it was crazy because in hindsight, we ended up having 9 KIAs out there in Afghanistan, and I thought, am I going to be able to see my daughter again? Am I going to make it through here? And you know, you just have to force yourself to compartmentalize a lot of things. And you know, fortunately for me, I made it back. I saw my daughter growing up. She was big. She looked at me like, who is this guy? Who the heck is this guy? And I was just I was full of joy seeing her again. But I tried to like catch up. I felt like I was kind of back where I started when she was 2 months. And I still feel like I've been playing catch up this whole time. She's gonna be 16 years old and I still feel that way. Is that crazy? Like, why do I feel that way? And yeah, that was part of the reason why I needed to, you know, seek services.
You know, again, my hat's off to you guys. We could do this for 10 years. We gotta have you know, we gotta do this in the studio. We gotta have an actual podcast. Because I'm gonna edit this, so with all the women and everything, it's gonna be a little loopy. But I did want to give you guys an opportunity in closing to, like, if there's a veteran out there, or even just a guy, what would you say? Like, what would you get them to feel comfortable in transitioning back? Because from the entire conversation that I got is, it's a trip to come back, right? You guys go, you train hard. What would you say to somebody listening?
Don't forget the brotherhood. When you're in the military, it's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. And when you run across other veterans, conversate. Because we all come from the same problem, come from the same genre. So when you see another veteran, and especially when I see another Marine, we go 7 to 5, we know it's hard to conversate. I see another Army man, what's up, my dog? The Navy, the Air Force, I don't know what to call Air Force, but when I see them, they call it smart. Yeah, when you come home, just realize that we're here. The brotherhood is here. You just got to seek it. The same, you know, and I'll say it like this. The same way we seek those Jordans when they go on sale, you need to seek help that same way.
I would say don't lose that camaraderie. Never lose it. If you're still in touch with your military buddies, your veteran friends, stay in touch. You have no idea how much it'll affect them, just, you know, with that single phone call. Hey, how you doing? It only takes a couple minutes. Hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? I hope everything's fine. Hey, maybe there's time we can meet. If not, you know, I hope you're doing well. Let me check back in with you later on. That's it. That's all it takes, and you need to keep that. Because a lot of veterans tend to just go their own ways, you know, of course, respectfully, take their own paths. But I would strongly recommend, do not lose that camaraderie.
Yeah, same note. Camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood. Get help. is the message I would leave. I mean, I would say get help, and I say it using the construct of the brotherhood, the sisterhood, and the camaraderie. You didn't pass boot camp by yourself. You didn't accomplish any mission alone. You did it with help. Let people help you. Let grow your squad, grow your unit, grow your platoon to include community resources, to include the VA. Just get help. Like, again, you didn't pass boot camp. None of this happened if you didn't go on a solo mission. So why would you tackle getting better and being a dad and being a husband and being a father? Why would you do that alone?
Yeah, I would tell the veteran there's going to be a lot of triggers when you come back. Everything from shadows on the ground to maybe exhaust, backfire, just all kinds of things. Make that same commitment that you made to your country, your platoon, your unit. Use that. It's a survival skill that we have. And sometimes when we get out, that is the survival. So we're 5 points around. Do that the same with your family. Make that commitment you made to your country, to your unit. Make that commitment to your family. Same way.